Alright, it's going live, going live. Here we go. Here we go.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to day 3 of the Veterans Classic, the 4th annual Veterans Classic, coming to you live from Fitzgerald Stadium in beautiful Rapid City, South Dakota. It is a picture-perfect Saturday, the first Saturday in June, and we are excited for another great day of baseball as we bring you a 5-game showcase here from Fitzgerald Stadium from Dave Plouffe Field. My name is Mike Fell, joined by the voice of Hard Hats TV, Oliver Fell, and we bring you an East River rivalry game to get things started here in Fitzgerald Stadium pool play as the 2-1 Mitchell Post 18 team takes on the 1-1 Huron Post 7 team in a very key swing matchup for this
Here,
pool. And
I can put on the
for
outdated standings.
for Mitchell, Mitchell is coming off a huge win, a 2-1 victory over the Post 22 Hard Hats last night. Dylan Sulik went the distance. He was outstanding. Oliver Fell will give you an update as we make our way through the first inning, but we start the game right away with Peyton Mandel, the third baseman, coming to bat. We'll get to those starting lineups momentarily for you as well. And the first pitch is over for a strike. On the mound for Huron is Lance Wenzel. He gets the start this morning, and the second pitch is over for a strike. Good, enthusiastic group of parents and family members here. Not very many folks have entered the turnstiles yet. It's still very early in the day. And that's strike 3. Peyton Manziel goes down in 3 pitches.
Man!
And that's a great start for Lance Wenzel as 3 pitches, 3 strikes. And that brings up Parker Mandel, the other Mandel brother on the Mitchell Post 18 squad.
Had some trouble so far. Both the Mandels, despite batting 1 and 2, honestly, not. I mean, I think the back half of this lineup is hit better than the front.
That could change, though. It's baseball. Here comes the pitch, and the ball is swatted in through to right field for a base hit. And Parker Mandel, as soon as I say that could change, he gets a single. And now a man is on with 1 out here in the top of the first inning. Huron and Mitchell, rival communities. Certainly, these young people know each other very well. They will play many times this year, and they will probably never play in a stadium quite like Fitzgerald Stadium. This is truly a showcase stadium here in American Legion Baseball, and you just have to love the environment as we start day 3 of the Veterans Classic. Ball is hit hard right at the third base coach for Mitchell. He had to dive just
He was
to
athletic,
get
though.
out of the way. He showed his athleticism for sure as he made that dive. Dylan Sulik is the hitter. Dylan Sulik, he is coming off a masterpiece starting pitching performance yesterday against the Hard Hats of Post 22, and I bet he woke up just feeling like $1 million after what he was able to do along with his teammates last night to lift Mitchell to a 2-1 start.
Is that in your way?
I liked it the other way.
Okay, you liked it all the way over.
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
And
I'm just going to lean back.
here we go. Dylan Sulik now down 0-2 in the count to Lance Wenzel. Wenzel throws over to first, and Parker Mandel heads back to the bag. Mandel with a very slight lead off of first base. Here comes the pitch from Wenzel. Ball hit hard to right field, and it will be caught for the second out of the inning. Making the catch in right field for Huron is Mason Davis. Again, we'll get to the starting lineups when we're in between the top and bottom of the first innings here. Also, Oliver Fell has a recap of last night's results and updated pool standings to tell you about. This is
We're
the
still
final
cooking.
day of. We're still working on that.
We're still cooking it.
All right, well, I'll get to the lineups in between the top of the first and bottom of the first. And then probably between the first and second inning of play, that's when we'll go ahead and get you updated on the poll standings. At the plate is Captor Simpson. He pops the ball up, and it's caught by the third baseman for the third and final out. So, in the top half of the first inning, Lance Wenzel and Huron able to keep Mitchell Post 18 off the board. In the top of the first, there were no runs, there was one hit, there were no errors, and there was one man left on base. To the bottom of the first inning we go. Huron Post 7 coming up. You're listening to Hard Hats, watching Hard Hats TV as we bring you a special East River rivalry morning showcase game between Huron Post 7 and Mitchell Post 18. Let's go ahead and get to the starting lineups. First for Mitchell Post 18, leading off its third baseman, Peyton Mandel. Batting second, playing first base, it's Parker Mandel. Dylan Sulich is hitting third. He will play shortstop. Captor Simpson is the center fielder. He's batting cleanup. Lincoln Bates, he's hitting fifth. He plays left field. Batting sixth, it's Landon Waddle. He is the catcher for today's Post 18 lineup. Batting seventh, and hitting as a designated hitter, it's Mason Herman. Batting eighth, it's left fielder Tyler Sanderson. And hitting in the ninth spot, the second baseman, Landon Sulich. So for Mitchell Post 18, it's Peyton Mandel, Parker Mandel, Dylan Sulich, Simpson, Bates, and Waddle, Herman Sanderson, and Landon Sulich for the Mitchell Post 18 team that comes in 2-1. This is Mitchell Post 18's final game in pool play. With a win, they could finish an impressive 3-1 in pool play and all but assure themselves a place in either the second place game tomorrow or the third place game tomorrow, depending on how things shake out. Let's now look at the Huron Post 7 starting lineup coming up here in a matter of moments. Leading off, it's first baseman Ethan Bush. Batting second, shortstop Jonathan Peterson. Hitting third, today's starting pitcher for Huron Post 7, it's Lane Wetzel. Batting fourth, Colby Hofer. Batting fifth, right fielder Mason Davis. Hitting sixth, it's Logan Leondecker. Batting seventh,
Leondecker. It's a very cool name.
Leondecker. Thank you, Oliver. Batting seventh is third baseman Tanner Gilbert. Hitting eighth, catcher Brady Fenstra. And hitting ninth, center fielder Trace Wenz. For Huron Post 7, as the first pitch to Ethan Bush is fouled off. Starting again for Mitchell is Peyton Schroeder. It's Bush, Peterson, Wenzel, Hofer, Davis, Leondecker, Gilbert, Fenstra, and Wenz. And again, Lane Wenzel on the mound and off to a good start for Huron. So here we go. Ethan Bush fouls off the first pitch from Schroeder. Second pitch is swatted to the first baseman. He'll take it himself and beat the base runner to the bag. That'll be a U3 in the scorebook, an unassisted ground out. And now Jonathan Peterson, playing shortstop, will step in to hit for Huron. Huron in their orange and black and white uniforms. Mitchell in their third combination of uniforms, very reminiscent of the Wichita State Shockers in college baseball. There's a swing and a foul back. And I'll say it, Oliver, I really like the color combination for Mitchell.
I think it's very creative.
It's just, well, I don't know if it's creative because it's just an extension of the high school colors for the Mitchell Colonels.
Never mind.
But it's very unique and it really works well for baseball for sure.
I'm gonna say Huron also a really nice shade of orange. They lean heavily into that.
Here comes the pitch to Peterson. It's outside. The count evens at 1-1. Oliver Fell working right now diligently on the updated pool standings as we head to day 3. We begin day 3 this morning. First pitch is hit hard to left field and caught for out number 2. Making the grab and retiring Jordan Peterson was left fielder Lincoln Bates for Mitchell post 18.
I must add, Jordan Peterson, I'm sure a normal name when he was born, a little bit more politicized now with the.
Well, it's
with the
Jonathan Peterson.
no, Jordan.
Oh,
Jordan's the political speaker.
oh, okay. I don't pay attention to such things. Ball goes to short, throw over to first, retired for out number 3, and there are no hits, no runs, no errors, nobody left on base. A 1-2-3 inning for Peyton Schroeder, and now we go to the second inning, no score. Oliver, do you have your updates finished? That was a very fast
No,
first
I do
inning.
not.
Okay,
There was
we will go
only
to
one
the
base runner in that inning.
yeah, we will
But
go to the
a fun
updates.
fact.
Go ahead, Oliver.
So Mitchell, of course, had a great outing from their ace Dylan Sulik. I'd assume that's their ace. If not, I'd be really scared.
I think Dylan Sulik is their ace,
But
or
Dylan
one of their
Sulik,
aces.
a senior this year, he will also be attending Northern State. He will be teammates with Dylan Marsh this upcoming summer, or this upcoming fall, both freshmen in that class. And so a D2 athlete, and will be joining one of our hard hats, which he struck out a few times.
All right, that's good to know. Northern State in Aberdeen, South Dakota's hub city. What an amazing campus and set of sports facilities is. Of course, Northern State's where Tim Miles, the great basketball coach from Nebraska, now at San Jose State, formerly at Colorado State, got his start was at Northern State.
Mountain West Coach of the Year this year.
Yeah, and that's not his first time as Mountain West Coach of the Year.
Or Coach of the Year, you mean? He won Big Ten Coach of the Year.
Well, he also,
in
yeah, I
14.
think he won Mountain West Coach of the Year at Colorado State once.
Oh yeah, true. Back
So that's why I said
ago,
it wasn't his first
yeah.
time as Mountain West Coach of the Year. But yeah, Northern State, great place, beautiful stadium, Dakota Bank Stadium, unbelievable football field, football stadium. Had a chance to broadcast the St. Thomas More versus Aberdeen Roncalli game back in early October from Dakota Bank Stadium. All right, here we go. Back to baseball. Lincoln Bates to lead things off for Mitchell post 18. Here comes a pitch from Lane Wetzel. Ball is hit hard to third. Throw to first, not in time. Lincoln Bates able to run out an infield single. Great effort there by Tanner Gilbert playing the hot corner for Huron. He just couldn't get to his balance in time to zing the throw over to first base. And so now a leadoff man's aboard for Landon Waddle. Waddle, the catcher, coming off a good game last night against Post 22. Throw back to first, not in time. So Mitchell is 2-1 in pool play, but the thing for Mitchell is they have lost already to Cheyenne Post 6, who sits atop the Fitzgerald Stadium standings at 2-0. Here comes a throw down to first, stolen base attempt, and that ball will hit the runner Lincoln Bates and trickle out to center field. That'll be a stolen base. Lincoln Bates now in scoring position, and Mitchell with an opportunity to score the first run of the game here in the top of the second inning. So the thing for Mitchell is they're 2-1. They had that giant win over Post 22 last night, but there's a sacrifice bunt handled by Wetzel. Throw to first is in time, and that is a nice sacrifice bunt that moves Lincoln Bates to third base with just one out. And Mason Herman will now come up, and any kind of hard contact should score the speedy Lincoln Bates from third and put Mitchell in front early. And I mean early because we're here in the morning in the 9 o'clock hour. Ball is popped up and caught by the second baseman, Mason Herman, with an unproductive second out. Now brings Tyler Sanderson to the plate, trying to bring home Lincoln Bates. And now Huron Post 7 can just play this straight up and try to get that third out at first base if they have such an opportunity. First pitch is inside and over actually for a strike. Tyler Sanderson, the hitter, the number 8 batter for Mitchell, post 18. Sees a pitch go outside now from Lane Wetzel. I keep wanting to call him Lance Wetzel because Lance Wetzel played for the Dallas Cowboys in the 1960s under Tom Landry. Here's a pitch, it's high.
Not the only Wetzel you're familiar with. Also a big fan of Yanni Wetzel, the New Zealander on the San Diego State Aztecs in the 2020 in their 2020 campaign. They were going to be a 1 seed had it not been for COVID.
That's right. COVID got in the way of the Coach Dutcher and the Aztecs title hopes 3 years ago. Ball is hit up the middle for an RBI single by Tyler Sanderson. Coming home is Lincoln Bates, and it's 1-0 in favor of Mitchell, post 18. Tyler Sanderson drives the ball right between the second baseman and the shortstop into center field, and that makes it a 1-0 lead for the 2-1 Mitchell, post 18 American Legion Baseball Club. Throw back to first, sends Sanderson back to first diving. Landon Sulick now the hitter. Sulick, the younger brother of Dylan Sulick, who pitched that masterpiece last night. Pitch outside from Lane Wetzel is ball 1. Yeah, we're talking about Aztecs basketball. Boy, did San Diego State this year roar back and show that they were truly not a one-year wonder, as the Aztecs lost in the national championship game to the Connecticut Huskies down in Houston this year. Here comes the 1-1 pitch from Wetzel to Sulick, and that pitch is over for strike 2. Fans are really into it. You have to appreciate what a rivalry game this is. Huron and Mitchell are two towns that don't like each other very much. They really want this win today. Here's a swing and a miss, strike 3. And that is the second strikeout of the game for Lane Wetzel, but Mitchell gets the job done and scores first. For Mitchell, in the top half of the second inning, they score 1 run on 2 hits. There were no errors, and there was 1 man left on base. It's the middle of the second inning. It's Mitchell, post 18, 1. Huron, post 7, nothing. Huron coming to bat next. This is Hard Hats TV coverage of the 4th annual Veterans Classic.
I'll finish at the end of the second, I bet.
All right. Oliver Fell getting all of the updates in. He's working on the graphics, and he will have results from last night's late games. He'll also have updated pool standings, and we'll discuss various scenarios. If Mitchell can get this win, they'll finish pool play at 3-1. They'll actually be the first team in the Fitzgerald Stadium pool to finish their 4-game pool competition. Kind of a nice situation. If you're a Mitchell fan, you can just go to the Black Hills today. You can do whatever you want. You got the whole day in front of you, and you're all done.
Something tells me they will still be sticking around for Huron Cheyenne in a minute here.
Okay.
Because as lower the odds are,
no, you got to play the game.
You got to play the game. If Cheyenne loses this and they get the head-on-head win against Huron here, they still can get first place.
Okay, good. That is a great point. Colby Hofer comes up to bat now. Colby being encouraged by his teammates. Here comes a pitch from Peyton Schroeder, and that first pitch is over for strike 1. Schroeder with pretty good velocity on his fastball for Mitchell, post 18.
So something about Huron's hitter here. Hofer he started off the train and ended a train in a 5-run inning in the top of the 6th against Westco yesterday. He was integral to all of that. He has been pretty good this tourney.
All right, very good. Thanks for giving us that perspective from yesterday. A little different position that Colby Hofer holds his bat. He holds it very high. If you look, he's got his hands on the bat well above his shoulder. Everybody has a different batting stance. This is Colby Hofer's stance. Probably gives them ability to really swing through the zone starting that high. Ball is outside and the count is now even, or now moves to 1-2. Huron post 7 with the same color scheme as the Baltimore Orioles. A tremendous season the Orioles are having this year. There's a swing and a miss for the first strikeout of the game for Peyton Schroeder. Now Mason Davis, the right fielder, comes to bat. Davis, a right-handed hitter, working against left-hander Peyton Schroeder for Mitchell post 18. Mike Fell with you this morning from Fitzgerald Stadium. Oliver Fell providing color commentary. Oliver, the voice of Hard Hats TV, will have the Hard Hats final game of pool play and the final game of this day 3 of the tournament later on today. And isn't their game against Huron?
It's against Laramie.
Oh, Laramie. Against Laramie. Thank you.
Which, at the moment, not exactly the best game. Both teams sit at the bottom of the Fitzgerald pool, but
it's
of
still
course,
a game.
Hard Hats also got a very tough schedule in comparison.
Absolutely, and it's still a game. Here we go. Ball is hit up the middle, and it's knocked down by the second baseman. He doesn't have a play, and that'll be an infield single. The first hit of the game for Huron post 7 against Mitchell 18 starter Peyton Schroeder. So a man is aboard with 1 out now for Logan Leyendecker, who has a great name, as Oliver points out. I agree, Oliver.
Yeah, that's a very, very strong name.
That's a great name. Logan Leyendecker waits for the first pitch.
There's also a
throw back to first.
There's actually a Firestein also in this tourney, I believe, on the Rogue baseball team.
Very cool.
That's also a good one.
Here we go. Of course, our names are complete sentences. Mike Fell, Oliver Fell.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
It is.
Here we go. First pitch is outside, is over for a strike. Here comes the 0-1 pitch to Logan Leyendecker. Leyendecker swats the ball towards center, and it gets past the diving center fielder. That'll be a hit, and now runners will be at the corners for Huron post 7 with just 1 out. Tremendous effort that time by Mitchell center fielder Captor Simpson. He just couldn't bring in a diving catch, and now Huron post 7 truly open for business with 2 on and only 1 out. Here comes Tanner Gilbert in the number 7 spot in the lineup for Huron post 7. Tanner Gilbert with a chance to tie the game with a base hit. Perhaps get Huron the lead with an extra base hit with runners at the corners for the orange, black, and white of Huron post 7. Here comes the pitch, and it's out. It's over for a strike. Throw down to second is in time, and Logan Leyendecker is caught stealing, gunned down with a great throw by Landon Waddle for Mitchell post 18, and that's the second out of the inning. And oh, that really hurts, because with that 2-4 put out on the caught stealing, now there are 2 outs, and any kind of hard contact will not score Mason Davis necessarily. There's a pitch over for strike 1 to Tanner Gilbert. So Gilbert just needed to really get the ball in play to tie the game. Now he needs to get on base safely. Ball hit to the shortstop. Throw to first is in time. No! It was not in time. Tanner Gilbert impressively runs out an infield single and thus scores Mason Davis with 2 outs here in the second inning. And we are all tied at 1-1 on the scoreboard. Tanner Gilbert gets the RBI more with his legs than with his bat right there. Man, you can just feel it. This is going to be an East River rivalry game that really starts the Veterans Classic the right way this morning here in Rapid City. Brady Fenstra, now the hitter for Huron post 7. There's a pitch and a swing and a miss, and quickly Brady Fenstra's down in the count 0-2. Venstra, catcher for Huron, trying to make something happen, and he strikes out on 3 pitches and becomes the second strikeout victim of the second inning for Peyton Schroeder. But Huron scores to tie the game in the bottom of the second with 1 run on a pair of singles with 2 hits, or rather on 3 hits, and there were no errors committed, and there was 1 man left on base. Through 2 innings of play in Game 1 of our 5-game showcase in Game 3 of the Veterans Classic, it's Mason, it's Mitchell, post 18-1, and Huron post 7-1. You're watching coverage of the Veterans Classic, the 4th annual Veterans Classic, on Hard Hats TV. How many viewers?
Probably like 80 if I were to guess. Oh, look, we're up to 20. I've been operating more or less the scoreboard.
We're going to be heading to the 3rd inning. So, a lot of college baseball going on around the country. The first round games were played yesterday, and a lot of the favorites won, which is normal, but you always have those fun upsets. How about the Stillwater Regional? Our friend Sasha Sanguinetti's Washington Huskies going to take on Oral Roberts today in the winner's bracket game, and that sends Oklahoma State and Southern Miss, that's Oklahoma State, to the losers bracket game. They're the host team. How about what happened in Auburn, Alabama yesterday? 2 big upsets. Samford upset Southern Miss, and the Pennsylvania Quakers from the Ivy League in extra innings beat the home team, the Auburn Tigers. So Auburn versus Southern Miss, the top 2 seeds in that regional, they will play one another in the losers bracket game this morning. Ball is dribbled to the third baseman, and they're going to say the ball was fouled.
Oh no, I turned it on at some point there. She's not playing the video. It was on the video.
Trace Wentz will, or rather,
pause.
Peyton Mandel will come to bat momentarily here. We have some technical issues, Oliver?
Somebody wasn't live on the video.
Okay.
So they were seeing something wrong.
Okay. Here comes the pitch, and it's outside for a ball. The count is 1-1. We begin the second time through the order for Mitchell post 18 against Lane Wetzel, the starter for Huron post 7. Peyton Mandel, his first time up, struck out on 3 pitches. He fouls away a pitch there, and this time he sees 3 pitches, and he's down in the count 1-2. See if Peyton Mandel can lead things off as the leadoff hitter and spark Mitchell post 18. Mandel hits the ball, and it's right into the glove of the shortstop for the first out of the 3rd inning. Good smooth play made right there by Huron post 7 shortstop Jonathan Peterson. And that's out number 1. Parker Mandel now comes up to bat. Parker had a single back in the 1st inning to get things going offensively for Mitchell post 18. Mitchell post 18, 2-1 in regional play, trying to get to 3-1 and have a chance to stay alive, perhaps play for the Veterans Classic title, or if that doesn't happen, maybe get a chance to play for 2nd or 3rd place, depending on how things materialize throughout this day 3 of the Veterans Classic. There's a pitch over the edge, and thought that was strike 3. I guess not. It moves the count to 1-2. Here comes the pitch from Wetzel. That's going to be strike 3, and catcher with a quick tag on the dropped ball out of the glove will send Parker Mandel back to the Mitchell post 18 dugout. That is the 3rd strikeout for Lane Wetzel for Huron here in this East River rivalry on this beautiful Saturday morning here in Rapid City. Here comes the pitch to Dylan Sulik. Sulik pops it up and the ball will land outside of play. And you were about to share something there, Oliver, before the play
I was just
happened.
going to point out plenty of strikeouts in that game between Mitchell and the Hard Hats last night. I believe that Sulik himself got, I believe, 10 strikeouts.
I had him with 12.
12.
Yeah.
12 strikeouts in his game.
Ball is hit hard to left field. That's a hit for Dylan Sulik. And Dylan now 1 for 2. And he's on base trying to mount a 2-out rally for Mitchell post 18. So Mitchell post 18, their only loss in 3 games in this tournament is to 2-0, actually 25-4, Cheyenne post 6 Sixers. But Cheyenne post 6 2-0. They play a doubleheader starting with their first game coming up after this game that we'll have for you on Hard Hats TV, and then Game 3 will also feature Cheyenne post 6. I'm hoping to get a Bradley Feeser sighting. I don't know if I'll get that or not today. Bradley Feeser going to be a legend for the Nebraska Cornhuskers, it appears. He is committed to play in Lincoln next year in the Big Ten. Now, Nebraska could use Bradley Feeser. They failed to make the NCAA baseball tournament. But it's a lot of fun to see some of the results. How about the Indiana State Sycamores? They rallied to beat Wright State 6-5, and the Missouri Valley team is hosting a regional this year. Indiana State will play Iowa, who beat North Carolina yesterday in a 1-run game. There's a swing and a miss. Strike 2 to Captor Simpson. Carter Simpson. Carter Simpson.
Now I know there's a ransom in this tournament, but it isn't quite that crazy.
There's a throwback to first, and it gets away. Dylan Sulik takes second, now runs all the way to third. There's a wild toss, barely corralled by the Huron post 7 third baseman. And going from first to third on a wild pickoff throw, that'll be an E1, is Dylan Sulik. And now Mitchell, post 18 with 2 outs, has a man at third in scoring position for Carter Simpson. Here comes a pitch to Simpson. Simpson hits the ball into right field for an RBI base hit. And Mitchell, post 18, has retaken the lead with a 2-out rally here in the top of the third inning. It's 2-1 in favor of Mitchell, post 18. Boy, this Mitchell post 18 team, so impressive here in Rapid City over these last 3 days. They just do the little things that make a big difference. Throw back to first is not going to pick off Carter Simpson. Carter Simpson, 1 for 2 on the morning. Came through in the clutch, and that run was really an extension of the throwing error back to first. Ball is popped up as Lincoln Bates comes to bat. Bates has his fly ball caught by the shortstop for Huron, post 7, to retire the side. But Mitchell, post 18, able to capitalize on a throwing error from Lane Wetzel back to first base on a pickoff attempt. And thanks to Carter Simpson coming through with a clutch RBI base hit to right field, Mitchell, post 18, now leads 2-1. We're in the middle of the third inning. In the top of the third, for Mitchell, post 18, they score 1 run. It was unearned. There were 2 hits. There was 1 error. And there was 1 man left on base. Through 2.5 innings of play here at Fitzgerald Stadium, it's Mitchell, post 18 2, Huron, post 7 1. This is Hard Hats TV. Oliver, are you ready to give us that update?
I am.
All right, I'll turn it over to Oliver with the full update as
So,
we begin
as you can
day
see
3
on your
of the
screen
tournament.
here, Veterans Classic Pool. Most teams have finished 3 games. Of course, the teams that haven't will be playing 2 today. But Mitchell, one of those teams, they will be the first to finish. They have a very impressive Very impressive record, 2-1. But that one loss to Cheyenne Post 6 at the very beginning is going to probably be their downfall in terms of winning the whole thing. Cheyenne Post 6 just has to finish against West Coast Scotts Bluff, who does have a win, and Huron, who of course is playing in this game. But something else to look out for: Lincoln Southwest High School. They've been very good. They lost on a walk-off to Post 22 in that first day, and they got a very convincing 20-0 win over Laramie right after that. They'll have 2 games today. If they can get to 3-1, I don't think they will have the secondary tiebreaker enough to break it, but maybe.
Thanks for that update. We'll look at the other pool in a moment. Ball is hit by Trace Wentz to left field, and that'll be a base hit. So the leadoff man is aboard for Huron Post 7. Oliver, go ahead and give us a recap, why don't you, for the Pete Lean field pool.
So Pete Lean entered a very interesting time last night. FNBO Nationals from North Platte. They were looking for their third win. The Expos really needed them to lose, or Post 320 to lose. And going into the bottom of the seventh, it was 2-0 320 before a rally.
We got a possible double play. The ball is handled by the first baseman. He throws to the shortstop at second to retire the lead runner. So that'll be a 3-6 put out, and that'll be a fielder's choice. It gets Ethan Bush on base for the first time today for Huron Post 7 with 1 out. Now Jonathan Peterson comes up to bat. He flew out to left field his first time out. Go ahead, Oliver.
So that was quite the comeback, coming down from 2-0 in the sixth. That kept FNBO's title hopes alive. The Expos were really on the doorstep. They're 3-0, but they did get roughed up in a 23-10 game. That secondary number there is runs allowed per inning. That is the tiebreaker outside of first tiebreakers, of course, head-to-head. After that, it's runs allowed per inning. So the the Expos are sitting a little bit behind the Nationals. They need a good showing from a team that roughed them up, Canyon City. If not a win from Canyon City, they need them to hit them the same way that the Expos got hit.
All right, and Post 22 does Expos do not play the North Platte Nationals, do they?
No.
Today.
I believe they finish off with Sturgis.
All right, the ball is hit towards left field, and there's a great diving catch made by left fielder Lincoln Bates for Mitchell Post 18. That was a great web gem right there. And that's the second time in this game that Lincoln Bates has made a great catch against Jonathan Peterson. So Peterson 0 for 2. Now here comes Lane Wetzel with a chance to help his cause. The starting pitcher in today's game for Huron takes the first pitch and swats the ball over the shortstop's glove for a base hit. And now there are 2 on with 2 outs. Lane Wetzel 1 for 2 this morning, and Colby Hofer is the hitter. He was the first man to strike out against Peyton Schroeder, leading off in the second inning. And now he comes up to bat with 2 on and 2 out, with Huron Post 7 trailing by just a run here in the bottom of the third inning. Mike Fell, Oliver Fell with you. Yes, we're related. I'm Oliver's dad. Here's a pitch. That's inside for ball 1. Huron trying to flip the scoreboard here, down 2-1 with 2 on and 2 out here in the third inning. Ball is hit up into the air to left field, and that will do it, as Peyton Schroeder able to get out of trouble as Lincoln Bates catches a routine fly ball to left field, and that will retire the side. So for Huron, they do not score. There was 1 hit. There were 2 hits. There were no errors. And there were 2 men left on base. And so through 3 innings of play, it's Mitchell Post 18 2, Huron Post 7 1. You're watching game number 1 of day 3 of the 4th annual Veterans Classic in beautiful Rapid City, South Dakota. This is Hard Hats TV.
Yeah, so right after this, we're going to get Cheyenne Post 6 up against Huron. This is, of course, one of their harder games. Of course, it's going to be one of Huron's harder. They're going to try to knock down the Kings. If they can, it's going to come down to Wesco, and otherwise Mitchell will stay in second.
All right, it's just so exciting when you play 4 games in a pool play situation. There's a lot of different scenarios and combinations, and I really like the runs allowed per inning secondary tiebreaker because it doesn't invite a situation where teams would want to try to run up the score to help their cause. Mitchell post 18 leading by a run begins the 4th inning. It's been a very fast moving game 1 of this 5-game set here in day 3 at Fitzgerald Stadium. Oliver, what's the game going on over at Pete Lean Stadium right now?
That game right now, we're looking at Lincoln versus Sturgis. Lincoln Southwest really needs, they can get close to tying Mitchell here, getting to 3-0 if they can beat Sturgis and Wesco today. Those uh, two middling teams, but Sturgis very misleading. They lost by just 1 run to the post 320 Expos after a 2-run homer in the 6th put them up, and then they lost a quite close game to the road team.
All right, quickly, Landon Waddle for Mitchell post 18 falls behind 0-2 to Lane Wetzel. Both pitchers, Lane Wetzel and Peyton Schroeder, pitching very well for their respective East River ball clubs. Ball is hit hard to the hot corner. Throw to first is in time for out number 1. Outstanding play right there by Tanner Gilbert, the third baseman for Huron post 7. Huron post 7 will play 2 games today. As Oliver mentioned earlier, they'll play Cheyenne post 6 in the game coming up next. So if you're a Huron post 7 fan, we're happy you're with us. And let's play 2. Ball is hit hard into left field by Mason Herman. And now there's 1 on and 1 out for Mitchell post 18. Tyler Sanderson now comes up to bat. Tyler was the man of the moment back in the 2nd inning when, with 2 outs, he was able to drive in Mitchell's first run of the game with a base hit to right field. Here comes a pitch to Sanderson, and Sanderson hits the ball out of play down the right field line for strike number 1. Have to love this time of year if you're a baseball fan. Heck, if you're a women's softball fan, the NCAA Women's College World Series is going on this weekend down in Oklahoma City. There's a pitch over for strike 2. And quickly the count moves to 0-2. Tyler Sanderson awaits the 0-2 pitch, and that pitch is over for strike 3. Tyler Sanderson carved up by a trio of pitches from Lane Wetzel from Huron. For Wetzel, that's his 4th strikeout of the game in 3 2/3 innings of work. Now Landon Sulick, who struck out his first time up, comes up to bat. He hits the ball hard off of the pitcher's glove. Ball is handled by a shortstop. Throw to first is a bit unexpected, and it bounces off the first baseman, and scampering on to third base is Mason Herman for Mitchell post 18. And now there are runners at the corners. Landon Suick with a single, and that odd exchange in the infield with that throw that I don't think Huron's first baseman Ethan Bush was really waiting for. And there we go. We got runners at the corners now. Lane Wetzel throwing back to first. Lane has to be careful. It was an erroneous pickoff throw back to first that really opened the door for Mitchell to get their go-ahead run last inning. Runners are at the corners with 2 outs for Peyton Mandel. Peyton 0 for 2 so far in this ball game. Maybe he's due for a big hit here. Here comes another throw back to first. And for all the throws back to first, I know it keeps the base runners honest, but we've yet to see anybody get picked off so far. Here comes a throw from Lane Wetzel, and that throw is on the outside part of the plate. Nope, it's just off the plate. Count is 2-0 to Peyton Mandel. Peyton's brother Parker Mandel is on deck. There is a base open if Peyton can reach base here by way of base on balls. There's a pitch inside and over for a strike. Count now moves to 2 balls, 1 strike. And we have an odd situation where the throw back to the pitcher went over to the second baseman. It was just a weird, quirky throw, kind of a Chuck Knobloch moment. Here comes a pitch. Ball is hit hard to left field and playable, and it is caught for the third and final out. And Huron post 7, and Lane Wetzel get out of the jam. Through 3 1/3 innings of play in an East River rivalry game, it is Mitchell post 18-2, Huron post 7 coming up with 1 run already in the books. Let's recap the top of the 4th inning. And for Mitchell post 18, there were no runs, there were a pair of hits, there were no errors, and there were 2 runners left on the corners to end the top of the 4th inning. Through 3 1/2 innings of play here at Dave Plew Field in Rapid City, it is Mitchell post 18-2, Huron post 7-1. This is Hard Hats TV. Mason Davis, Logan Leyendecker, and Tanner Gilbert are due up for Huron post 7 in the bottom of the 4th inning. Could really see the frustration on the part of the third base coach for Mitchell post 18. When he came back to the dugout, he had a bat in his hand and he just slammed the bat down. He held on to the bat, but you could see a visible sign of frustration. I think that Mitchell is getting concerned the longer that their arch rival to the north, the Huron post 7 team, hangs around, however, in this game, that Huron has a chance to pull out a victory. This is a good game, a well-pitched game. Lance Wetzel for Huron post 7, and Peyton Schroeder for Mitchell post 18. Pitch is over for a strike. Strike 1. I work with a gentleman, Jay Murphy. He's one of the sales managers, along with myself, at Riverfront Broadcasting in Rapid City, South Dakota. And big shout out to Jay Murphy. Huron is Jay's hometown, and Jay told me Huron and Mitchell, very familiar rivals with one another, and have been rivals for a long time. Here's a pitch, a swing and a miss, and that makes it a 1-2 count. I always like when you have a conference tournament situation or a regional baseball tournament situation where you get 2 rivals playing on a neutral field far away from one another. I always think that's a special place to renew acquaintances. Here comes a 1-2 pitch. The ball is fouled off on a nice cut by Mason Davis, the right fielder for Huron post 7. What a beautiful day for baseball. Of course, the weather pattern in Rapid City, usually almost identical from one day to the next. We start with beautiful sunshine out here in the Rocky Mountain region, Intermountain West. And then as the day goes along, the thunderheads build and we have scattered showers and get to look at some nice puffy cotton ball looking clouds that usually don't do a whole lot in the way of severity. Of course, in East River you see cumulonimbus thunderheads, and you probably need to seek some cover. Ball is fouled back by Davis. Count now is at 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2-2 count. Leadoff man is Mason Davis. Huron post 7, trailing 2-1 as they come to hit here in the bottom of the 4th. We're halfway through this 7-inning game. It's been a good one so far. Here comes a pitch outside to Mason Davis. The ball skips outside and the count goes full. So here comes the payoff pitch from Peyton Schroeder. Peyton Schroeder waits for the 3-2 offering with nobody out. Schroeder's pitch is over for strike 3, and Mason Davis knew it. He turns and takes the walk back to the post 7 dugout, and that is the third strikeout of the game for Peyton Schroeder, and that was a key moment here midway through this ball game. Here's a pitch to Logan Leyendecker, and that's a swing and a miss for a strike. Leyendecker was able to reach base with a single back in the second inning, and then he was caught stealing at a key moment with runners at the corners. Ball is hit too hard to third. Throw to first is in time for out number 2. A good 5-3 ground out there for Mitchell post 18. And that retires Logan Leyendecker, who's now 1 for 2 today. And here comes Tanner Gilbert. Tanner Gilbert had a single and an RBI his first time at bat. He'd love to tie the game here with a long ball. Here comes the pitch to Gilbert. That's over for a strike. Tanner getting some big "Let's go Tanner" chants from some of the Huron Post 7 fans who are here today. Second pitch is a swing and a miss by Tanner. And now Peyton Schroeder is 1 strike away from getting a 1-2-3 inning here in the bottom of the 4th. Here comes Schroeder's pitch, and that's a swing and a miss. It's not handled by the catcher, but he has it, throws to first, and that will retire the side. 2 strikeouts punctuate a 1-2-3 inning for Peyton Schroeder and Mitchell post 18. There were no runs, no hits, no errors, no men left on base, and through 4 innings of play at beautiful Fitzgerald Stadium, established in 1957. It is Mitchell post 18 2, Huron post 7 1. We head to the 5th inning. Mitchell bringing Parker Mandel, Dylan Sulik, and Carter Simpson to the plate. You're watching Hard Hats TV.
I'm doing well. I'm setting up all the rest of the streams,
Cool.
putting thumbnails and whatnot.
Great. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Mike Fell with you from Rapid City, the city of presidents. Shining city of the Intermountain West, second largest city in the great state of South Dakota. A lot of people, if you're curious, move, according to the 2020 census, between Sioux Falls and Rapid City, Sioux Falls. There were over 1,000 people that moved from Rapid City to Sioux Falls, or from Sioux Falls to Rapid City. The differential was like 30 people between the groups of people moving both ways. And in case you're curious, more people moved to Rapid City in the last couple years than have moved from Rapid City to Sioux Falls. Here we go. Parker Mandel is the leadoff hitter here in the 5th inning. First pitch is outside for ball 1. Parker Mandel, 1 for 2 this morning. Waits for the pitch from Lane Wetzel. Wetzel's pitch is low for ball 2. Wetzel perhaps showing some signs of fatigue, just a little bit. And you can understand why. Wetzel's been throwing hard this morning, and even though he hasn't thrown a bucket load full of pitches, he's still now in the 5th inning. Here comes a pitch from Wetzel. That's over for a strike. Parker Mandel clearly taking all the way at 2-0. Mandel now waits for the 2-1 pitch from Wetzel from here on post 7, and that ball is fouled back to the screen, and the count now evens at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Lane Wetzel, an intense competitor. has really done a fine job of navigating through challenges in this game. And there's a swing and a miss, strike three. That's the fifth strikeout this morning for Lane Wetzel, the ace for Huron Post 7.
Might I just say, I mean, without Wetzel's performance here, there's no chance that Huron is even in striking distance, I believe. There's been such good hitting I've seen from Mitchell this full series or this tournament, and wow.
Ball is struck by Dylan Sulik to right field, and that ball will be caught for out number 2. Making the grab in right field is Mason Davis for Huron Post 7, and now there's 2 up and 2 down. And Oliver, you make a great observation. Lane Wetzel, really the equalizer here for Huron Post 7, and you can sense a building amount of angst and frustration on the part of Mitchell Post 18, as I described earlier.
Yeah, I bet they.
Ball is hit hard by Carter Simpson, and that ball will go all the way to the wall. This might be a triple. Throw back towards the infield is going to keep it to a double. But Carter Simpson able to get a huge ovation from the Mitchell Post 18 faithful here in Rapid City. And now a man is in scoring position with 2 outs for Lincoln Bates, who was 1 for 2 today with a stolen base.
How about these 2-out rallies from Mitchell? That's how they scored both their runs today. They just, I mean, it gets down to that last out, and instead of saying, hey, okay, we tried, they keep on going and they push.
They sure do. There's a pitch over for a strike. No balls and 1 strike now with 2 outs. And as you say, 2 outs is when the action begins for this Mitchell Post 18 team this morning. Somebody said something very funny among the Mitchell fans. There were a huge amount of laughter from all the Mitchell fans a moment ago. Wish we could have heard what was so funny. There's a pitch outside, and he gets away from the catcher, and that'll be a pass ball that advances Carter Simpson from second to third base with 2 outs. Don't see very many pass balls, but that time it was Brady Fenstra becoming his own worst adversary. Here comes a pitch from Wetzel. That's outside for ball 3. The count now 3-1 to Lincoln Bates. Man is at third in the person of Carter Simpson with 2 outs. Lane Wetzel trying to get out of a jam yet again, as he has a number of times today. Wetzel's 3-1 pitch is over for a strike, and he loads the count. And now there's a throwback to the pitcher.
Oh my gosh!
And that's going to lead to a run.
When does that ever happen?
One of the most fundamental things in baseball is a toss back to the pitcher's mound, and that did not go well for Huron Post 7. That'll be an error, and that will be a run for Mitchell Post 18, and they get a key insurance run now, taking a 3-1 lead, all with this 2-out rally. And
Did
there's a swing and a miss. And
it was a pass ball.
A pass ball, and that will be a strikeout and a runner at first base.
I mean,
Lincoln Bates able to reach on a pass ball strikeout, a pair of pass balls, a strange sequence on a throwback to the pitcher's mound. And if you're having a hard time keeping up with all of that, you're not alone. And it's 3-1 with a man on and 2 outs. And now a pair of errors being committed here in the top of the 5th inning has given Mitchell a little bit of a cushion, now leading by 2 runs, 3-1 in the top of the 5th.
I mean, a run scoring on a pass back to the pitcher is about as rare as a extra base hit on an intentional walk.
There we go. There's a hit to the short baseman. He shovels the ball to second, underhand to retire the side, but the damage is done, as that, by the way, was a 6-4 putout to close out the 5th inning, as Mitchell scores a run on a erroneous throw back to the pitcher's mound, as Carter Simpson runs home from third base, as he had advanced earlier on a pass ball earlier in the fifth inning frame. And after all of that, by the way, Lane Wetzel now with 6 strikeouts. After all of that, there was 1 run. There was technically 1 error. I thought there were 2. There was 1 error. There was 1 hit, and there was 1 man left on base. And through 4.5 innings of play, it's Mitchell post 18-3, Huron post 7-1. This is Hard Hats TV. Wow, if you can sort through that madness,
Yeah.
congratulations through all of that fog. I guess that's the best way to call it, some baseball fog. We have a 2-run ball game. Mitchell has out-hit Huron 8-4. Huron with a pair of errors to Mitchell's 1 error. Certainly big, and something you hardly ever see in a baseball game at this level. All of the runs scored by Mitchell post 18, and that was a great observation you made, Oliver, were all scored with 2-out rallies.
Yep.
Lane Wetzel, he's done a great job of getting in and out, getting out of trouble.
You really gotta
stranding runners, but mercy.
You really got to feel for Wetzel on that last one. I mean, he did all he could. He got him to a full count. He was working everything and was about to get out of that inning. And a wild pitch gets by. And a wild pitch gets by. An error back to throwing back to the pitcher allows a run. And then the next guy comes on a pass ball.
All right, now we make our way to the bottom of the 5th inning. Mike fell and Oliver fell with you.
Umpire getting his steps in.
Umpire. Yeah, you know, I've never seen an umpire with a step counter device.
I've never seen one either.
The key thing for an umpire is not to count their steps, it's to count balls and strikes.
I suppose.
Brady Fenstra leads things off for Huron post 7. Looks like we have a new pitcher on the mound, or do we? Ball is hit skyward, handled by the shortstop, and that'll be out number 1. I'm not sure that's Peyton Schroeder. Is it Peyton Schroeder? I think it could be Peyton Schroeder. We're in the bottom of the 5th inning. Mitchell leading Huron 3-1. I'm going to check my sheet, make sure we haven't had a pitching change.
Hope you all are enjoying this.
We still have Peyton Schroeder on.
I'm glad to see everybody in here. 21 viewers here for the start, a very early game, 9 o'clock, both time zones for the teams here.
It's great to have all of our viewers with us. Many tuning in from East River, South Dakota, and we're happy you're with us today.
So are they Central?
They are Central Time. They're an hour ahead of us.
All right, 10 o'clock makes a little more sense.
Rapid City time. Grounder to third. Throw to first is dropped by the Mitchell first baseman, and that'll be an error on the first baseman. And Trace Wentz able to reach for the 2nd time today. He had a single back in the 3rd inning. So we have 1 on and 1 out, and now the tying run comes to the plate in the person of left-handed hitter Ethan Bush. Bush, a power hitter, looking for his pitch to drive here. Huron trying to rally here in the bottom of the 5th. Ball is hit hard by Bush, and it will be caught by the right fielder for Mitchell post 18 for out number 2. Making the catch and playing the ball very well was right fielder Tyler Sanderson, who's had a good game to this point. So now with 1 on and 2 out, Jonathan Peterson comes up to bat. Peterson has flown out to left field twice. Lincoln Bates making a pair of grabs, one in very impressive fashion a couple of innings ago. Here comes the Peyton Schroeder pitch to Jonathan Peterson, and that's outside, not even close to the plate for ball 2. So Peterson works ahead in the count. He's ahead 2-0. Huron post 7 down by a pair of runs with a man on and 2 out here in the bottom of the 5th. Pitch is outside for ball 3. Jonathan Peterson, somebody yells, "Let's go, Pete." Trying to reach base here.
Peterson was the pitcher of record in their win over Westco their comeback. He came in about the fourth inning, took over for the starter, and after 7 runs were allowed, he shut him out for the rest of the game, and they were able to preserve an 11-7 Wesco win over Wesco.
Thanks for that. Look back, Oliver. Ball is struck into the center field, and it was almost a force out at second as that ball was played shallow by the center fielder. But thankfully for Huron Post 7, Trace Wentz got the second base in time, and that's a base hit by Jonathan Peterson. And now here we go. Big moment in this game. Peyton Schroeder with 2 on and 2 out will face Lane Wetzel, who can really help his own cause here. Pitch to Wetzel is struck to left field, but playable, and it will be caught by Lincoln Bates to retire the side. Mitchell, post 18, able to get out of a serious jam and retain their 2-run advantage. We're through 5 innings of play. It's Mitchell, post 18, 3, Huron Post 7-1. You're watching Hard Hats TV. Let's go ahead and give you a recap of the bottom of the 5th inning. There were no runs. There was 1 hit. There was 1 error. And there were 2 men left on base. Through 5 innings of play here in Rapid City, Mitchell leads Huron 3-1. We're headed to the 6th. This is Hard Hats TV. Doing good, Oliver?
Mm-hmm.
Want some money to get something to drink or eat?
I've got my stuff. I'll get that. Well, that'll be eventually.
Okay. Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for being with us. Most of you don't leave, but between innings, some of you want to get something cold to drink, something to eat. Make yourself comfortable. It's day 1 of a 5-game showcase. Mike Fell, Oliver Fell with you all day and all night.
We're looking at possibly even a 12-hour workday here.
If this
I did that yesterday.
If this is work, they ought to throw us in a coal mine to teach us a lesson.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Did a pretty great job.
We do. It's a sweet gig, as they say. Mitchell out hitting Huron 8-5. Both teams committing a pair of errors. It just seems as though Mitchell has made Huron pay for those errors much more than the other way around. Lane Wetzel is out to work the 6th inning, and what a performance by both of these starters. Lane Wetzel for Huron Post 7 and also Peyton Schroeder for Mitchell Post 18. Mitchell Post 18, they're 2 innings away from finishing pool play first here in the Fitzgerald Stadium pool play with a 3-1 record, and that will keep them alive. They'll need a lot of help for the opponents coming up later today in a doubleheader against Cheyenne Post 6 to reach the Veterans Classic title game. But Mitchell still alive, trying to finish pool play at 3-1, and there's a hit by pitch. The ball graced the top of the batter's helmet.
The very shiny batter's helmet.
Yes,
the very bright one.
Mason Herman with his shiny batter's helmet. Maybe there's a little mark on the top of it now, as he has the ball just barely grazed the tip top of his helmet. No harm, no foul, but he is on base. Mason Herman now at first base. Herman, by the way, 1 for 2. And the leadoff man's aboard, and here comes Tyler Sanderson. He had an RBI single back in the 2nd inning to get Mitchell on the board first in this East River rivalry game. Of course, when these teams meet in most sports, it's in high school sports, and it's the Huron Tigers against the Mitchell Colonels. The color schemes are carried over here in Legion play, but they don't go by the high school names. They go by their post credentials.
except for Lincoln Southwest, who does go by their high school name despite being a post.
Actually, they go by their corporate sponsor name and their post name and their
they wear things with silver
right
hawks.
field. That's a great base hit there by Tyler Sanderson, who's 1 for 2 today, and Mason Herman motors his way over to third base, and now there are runners at the corners, and Landon Sulik is due up, and for the first time today, Lane Wetzel will have to negotiate base runners with nobody out. That has not been the scenario in any of the first 5 innings in which Lane Wetzel has been on the mound. Landon Solik, right-handed hitter, sees strike one to begin his at-bat. Landon is 1 for 2 today with a single. Lane Wetzel looks back at first base. Runners at first and third. Ball is hit hard and through the hole. That'll score a run for Mitchell, post 18. Trotting home is Mason Herman. And there's an RBI single by Landon Sulik. And now the line is really moving with back-to-back base hits. And Mason Herman, who reached on a inside pitch that grazed the top of his batting helmet just barely, is the 4th run in this game for Mitchell, post 18. And now there's runners at first and second, and we flip the lineup for a 4th time today, as Peyton Mandel will come up to hit with 2 on and nobody out. Peyton Mandel 0 for 3 today against Lane Wetzel, with a pair of flyouts in this one. Here comes the pitch from Lane Wetzel. It looks like it's a bunt, and it's a good one. It might go foul. Nope, it's handled by the pitcher. And there's a wild throw down the right field line. 1 run will score, and Mitchell, post 18, now leads 5-1 as Tyler Sanderson scores all the way from second base, or rather from third base. And what should have been a sacrifice bunt instead is going to be a error on the pitcher, Wetzel. And now there are runners at second and third and still nobody out. And this is quickly becoming a nightmarish 6th inning for Lane Wetzel and Huron, post 7. It's 5-1, and the gates are really, the floodgates are open here for Mitchell in the 6th inning, now leading by 4 runs with a pair of base runners in scoring position and still nobody out. Parker Mandel now the hitter. Mandel hits the ball up the middle and through the hole. That will score a run, maybe 2, and the runner will turn around to go back to third. And it is 6-1 as Landon Sulik scores on an RBI smash up the middle by Parker Mandel. And Mitchell, post 7, post 18, now cruising, as we'll have a pitching change here.
Yeah, well, maybe not a change, but it looks like Wetzel finally ran out of juice. He was doing so well for so long.
He did extremely well. And when you get into pool play, you just, and keep in mind, Huron has to conserve some pitchers for
their game against
Cheyenne post 6 immediately after this ball game. You sometimes extend those pitchers a little longer than you would ordinarily if it was a game in the middle of the week or just a weekend series. But Lane Wetzel, he's stretched out. He's gone 5 innings, but he's faced a total of 5 hitters here in the 6th inning and did not record an out. And looks like we're going to keep Wetzel out there. Lane Wetzel will, I believe, remain on the mound. But boy, he has really given everything he can to the post 7 cause this morning, keeping it close throughout until the 6th, where it's now 6-1, with Mitchell, post 18, capitalizing on a total of 3 base hits, an error and a hit by pitch. Dylan Sulik, last night's heroic starter, the ace for Mitchell post 18 lifts the ball deep to left field. That'll score a run. That's a sac fly RBI, and Dylan Sulick has his first ribby of the game. That'll be a F7 sac fly RBI, and that will score Peyton Mandel from third base. And now it's 7-1. A big crooked number on the board for Mitchell post 18 with 4 runs across here in the 6th inning. Mason Herman, Tyler Sanderson, Landon Suick, and Peyton Mandel have all scored. Parker Mandel is at first base with just 1 out. And here comes Carter Simpson.
Ooh, right off his ankle, and he takes a tumble.
Fouls the ball hard off of his ankle. And let's hope he has an ankle guard there. Probably doesn't.
Doesn't look like it.
He's going to just tenderly walk around.
He gets a clap from the fans.
I think his mom with his little baby brother just stood up and expressed some concern.
Oh, I mean, he did fall over. He nearly got halfway to the mound.
It's a tough moment for a mom to watch. Here comes the 1-1 pitch to Carter Simpson.
Fouled off. Oh, and it's off of him.
We've got a foul off of Brady.
Throw away this ball.
And he is in pain.
Throw away this ball. It's bad luck.
Yeah, this ball looks like it came right out of a cursed scenario. And Brady Fenstra is hunched over.
I think that's off his neck. I want to say that's off like like it hit his trachea or something, because it bowed down and then hit the edge of like his mask and his chest guard.
Fenstra is up on his feet. And he is just in a lot of pain. He's gonna try
I think that hit like his collarbone area.
And he's just gonna be tough. You gotta just tip your hat to Brady.
I mean, he does not need to stay in this game.
He's as tough as a $2 steak. He's gonna stay out there for Huron post 7 and get back in his crouch and listen to these fans. That's Huron strong right there. Brady Fenstra takes a foul ball to a place wherever that place was that you don't want to be. And yeah, you wonder if that's the same ball out of the ball bucket that was the ball that was thrown back to the pitcher's.
You have to wonder. Earlier. This one is cursed.
This is about as crazy of a baseball as it's like the arrow. It's like that flaming, smoking arrow in the Guardians of the Galaxy films. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. The ball is tipped into the catcher's glove. And nope, we're still going to have the at-bat continue.
Was that not a strikeout?
That was not a strikeout.
I thought it was a strikeout.
That was strike 3.
Yeah.
I was reading the batter, and he didn't know, and then the umpire said...
Well, because there was a foul ball, and a foul tip into the catcher's neck, and then... So a foul ball off of him, off the catcher's neck, and then a strikeout.
Well, the last time we had such a crazy series of events, that was the 6th strikeout of the game for Lane Wetzel. Right there is the 7th strikeout after a pair of nearly debilitating foul balls.
This one was
And now Lincoln Bates will come up to hit with a man on and 2 outs, and Wetzel throws a strike. Give Lane Wetzel credit. After that convergence and long conference on the hill, he's retired the next 2 men he's faced. And here comes Lincoln Bates. Bates's pitch is high and outside for ball 1. We've got a youngster crying in the Mitchell cheering section. And
he's a little late.
He's
the injury already happened.
Having a moment. I've got a little one.
You got 3.
Well, a little one that cries and really needs his mom all the time. Little Seth.
That's me.
And he cries sometimes. You are not the little one.
I can do my best.
You can. That's pretty good. Here comes the pitch. Ball is outside for ball 2. Count moves to 2-1 to Lincoln Bates. Lincoln able to reach on a strikeout earlier in the game, and he is 1 for 3 officially with a single and a run scored back in the 2nd inning in what feels like a long time ago. Mitchell leads Huron 7-1. Oliver, you're keeping the score graphics up, and I know how much fans appreciate that.
We've done all the things fans want. We got the behind the plate cam. We've got that. We've got custom thumbnails so you can see which game's going on. I mean, it's all coming together.
It's coming together, and thanks to you, Oliver. You do things with the graphics and the computer that your 51-year-old dad cannot do.
You know how to tune up a radio.
I can do that.
I cannot.
Ball is fouled
Ooh,
hard
get
off
rid of
the
that ball.
umpire, and we have now seen
There we go. Different ball. Different ball.
a foul in just the last 5 minutes off of the hitter, off of the catcher, and now the umpire. So if you're scoring at home, that's an unofficial triple crown of foul balls here in the bottom of the sixth inning. And there's strike three, and that's 8 Ks for Lane Wetzel. But Mitchell breaks the game wide open, scoring 4 runs on a total of 3 hits. There was 1 error, and there was 1 man left on base. Through 5.5 innings here in Rapid City at the 4th Annual Veterans Classic. It's Mitchell, post 18-7, Huron post 7-1. This is Hard Hats TV.
So, in the meanwhile, I got a little bit of a fun fact. I looked into the MLB prodigies and minor leaguers for the out of South Dakota, some of these guys, and I found the pride of Mitchell, 3-time World Series champion Dick Green, second baseman and third baseman for the Kansas City and Oakland A's. He won on that three-peat in the early 70s.
That's awesome.
He played 12 seasons for the A's, both in Kansas City and in Oakland, as a second and third baseman. He went to Mitchell High School, originally from Sioux City, Iowa, but I bet he also passed through this program if I were to guess.
I bet so. Wonder if there's a Dick Green field. You wonder. Colby Hofer, Mason Davis, and Logan Leyendecker are due up in the middle of the order for Huron Post 7. Huron Post 7 will take on Cheyenne Post 6. The Sixers coming up next. You don't want to miss that game. 5 games in a row. Father-son coverage. Mike Fell with Oliver Fell. I'll be focusing on the early games, and Oliver will have the play-by-play action for the games later on this afternoon and evening. And we're going to just spend the day at the ballpark with all of you. And where would you rather be than American Legion Baseball on the first Saturday in June? Mitchell 7, Huron 1. Back for a 6th inning of work is starter Peyton Schroeder for Mitchell post 18. Colby Hofer, the hitter, 0 for 2 against Schroeder so far this morning. Ball is hit back to the mound. Throw to first, routinely is in time. And that's a 1-3 putout to get things started here in the bottom of the 6th inning.
And now that's really upset the baby.
That baby, if this was church, that baby would need to go to the cry room.
They need him. Get out of it! Get him out of here! You know, umpire's got to toss the baby. He's ruining the fan experience.
Priests don't talk that way. Priests don't talk that way. Here we go.
They tell you to please
pitch.
take him out.
Ball is hit squarely to center, and it is caught! What a grab in center field.
Simpson.
How about Carter Simpson sliding sit and spin catch to record the second out here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Now Logan Leyendecker, who was 1 for 2 today with a caught stealing back in the second, comes to bat against Peyton Schroeder. Here comes a pitch from Schroeder, and that's over for a strike. Peyton Schroeder, just very businesslike. He wears number 17. Of course, if you see the number 17, you think of Phillip Rivers.
I do.
Here comes the pitch. That's a swing and a miss, strike 2. I'm sure there have been other quarterbacks who wore 17 well, but Rivers is our guy.
Mm-hmm.
Here comes the 0-2 pitch to Logan Leyendecker. Ball is lifted to right field and playable. And it is caught for the 3rd and final out by the right fielder to retire the side. Another 1-2-3 inning, the second 1-2-3 inning, third 1-2-3 inning of the game for Peyton Schroeder. There were no runs, no hits, no errors, no one left on base. And through 6 innings of play, It's Mitchell, post 18-7, Huron, post 7-1. You're watching Hard Hats TV. We move to the final inning of play in game number 1 of our 5-game showcase. This East River rivalry game looking right now like it belongs to Mitchell post 18, and if Mitchell can nail this game down leading by 6 runs with 3 outs remaining to go, they will finish pool play in the Fitzgerald Stadium pool with a 3-1 mark with a shot at playing for the championship tomorrow.
Now, although Philip Rivers by far the leader in career, achievements at number 17, there's some other good 17s out there. Dave Craig,
Oh, yeah.
longtime quarterback for the Seattle
He
Seahawks.
really put the Seahawks on the map. He was a great quarterback.
Jim Hart
and
also.
By the way, Dave Craig also a very good quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs back in 1992 as a Plan B free agent.
Speaking of Plan B Chiefs, Steve DeBerg, who played till he was 44.
Who also played for the Kansas City Chiefs in 1990 and 91.
I wonder who got 17. You got to wonder. Jim Hart was there too. And then, how about somebody threatening for the MVP right now out of Wyoming himself, Josh Allen?
Oh wow, Josh Allen. He's better than Philip Rivers.
Yep, he's just got to keep it up. And
don't worry, he will.
And don't worry, even though Josh Allen does not have an MVP, there has been one MVP for the with the number 17, that being Brian Sipe.
Oh, Brian Sipe from the Cardiac Kids, Sam Ritigliano's Cleveland Browns. It featured Denver legend, tight end Dave Logan.
Yep.
And Ozzie Newsome, your favorite tight end / running back in Super Tecmo Bowl.
We are big Tecmo Bowlers.
We are huge Tecmo Bowlers. Big shout out to Mort.
Give a shout out to Mort. He's definitely listening.
Mort's everywhere. Landon Waddle will lead things off here in the top of the 7th inning. Pitch is outside for a ball, and Oliver Fell, I hope someday we can go to Madison, Wisconsin, and you can compete in the
I wonder when that is.
Tournament.
This summer.
You just got to Google it. It's not easy to do. Here comes a 1-1 pitch to Landon Waddle from Lane Wetzel. Wetzel's pitch is struck towards third base, handled on a hop. Throw to first is in time to retire the leadoff man. Smooth play right there by Huron post 7 as Landon Waddle is retired. Now Mason Herman comes up to bat. Herman, 1 for 2 today with a hit by pitch. He's scored. And he will try to do something here in the top of the 7th. No pressure on Mitchell now. They lead by 6 runs. They're 3 outs away from finishing pool play with a 75% win percentage. Here comes the pitch to Mason Herman. That ball is high. Count evens at 1 ball and 1 strike. Let's give a shout out to your mother, Siobhan, if she's watching. Here comes a pitch from Wetzel, and it is outside for a ball. Count is actually 1-1. I misspoke a moment ago. Got ahead of myself. Doesn't happen too often with baseball. Getting ahead of yourself when you broadcast football, that's another story. Sometimes that happens. Count, by the way, is 2-1. I was right after all. Ball was hit to the third base. Then he throws across the diamond in time and accurately for out number 2, and that's a pair of 5-3 putouts. Give credit to Tanner Gilbert for Huron post 7. He's been very sharp with his infield defense this morning. Now Tyler Sanderson will come to the plate. He's 2 for 3 today with a pair of singles, a run scored, and a run batted in. Sanderson trying to avoid a 1-2-3 inning. And how about Lane Wetzel? He's out away from going the distance. He's racked up 8 strikeouts. He just had things unravel on him in the beginning of the sixth inning. That's why it's not a 3-1 game. Instead, it's a 7-1 game. There's an inside pitch. The batter gets out of the way. If that was Mitchell last night, they would have taken that pitch and
They would
got
have.
last
They
night.
don't
I'll
need it
tell
as
you,
much, I
I
guess.
gotta give it up. If you're a Mitchell post 18 fan, you should be proud of the toughness of your team. Ball is hit hard again to the third baseman. Throw to first is
He
high,
touches it.
but it's handled by the first baseman who dives with his glove and gets the final out of the inning. And Lane Wetzel goes the distance, induces a trio of ground outs to the third baseman to get a 1-2-3 inning, and that's a great way for Lane Wetzel to end an outstanding complete game performance. And I mean outstanding. He gave up 11 hits, but he had his team in position
Against
to
this
win
Mitchell team.
this game against their arch rival to the south, the Mitchell post 18 team.
And might I add, 7 is a low for this tournament for Huron. They allowed 15 to the Expos, got mercy rolled in game 1, and then they lost. Then they won 11-7 against Westco. This is better. This is a better team than both of those teams, I believe. And they have. I mean, no, it's not a low because they last night 2-1, but they have. Or for Huron, yeah, this is their best performance by a while, or by a bit, I'd say. As you were talking about not getting too ahead of yourself in football compared to baseball, here's a Jim Bouton quote: "Baseball players are smarter than football players. How often do you see a baseball team penalized for too many men on the field?"
That's a great quote. Thanks for sharing that with everybody. Of course, it's pretty easy to take the field and stay there versus switching in and out of packages in football or in different game situations with changeover
He's
of
got a good
possession.
point nonetheless.
But he does. He does. Baseball players are very intelligent. Here comes a pitch to Tanner Gilbert to lead things off in the bottom of the seventh inning. Don't have a lot of kids to chase the foul balls in game 1 of this 5-game
They'll show up.
showcase. Later on, though, by the time Post 22 plays Laramie tonight, the place will be swarming with little ones dreaming of a foul ball. There's a foul ball, and there's a dropped catch on the run, almost out number 1. Great effort there by Landon Waddle. He got there, he just couldn't get the squeeze on that foul ball off the bat of Tanner Gilbert. The count is 0-2 now. Peyton Schroeder looking to go the distance. Schroeder in this game with 4 strikeouts has been very efficient. He's had 3 1-2-3 innings out of 6, and there is the 5th strikeout of the game. The ball was dropped by the catcher who easily throws to first, and that will be the first out on the bottom of the 7th inning. And now Zach Peterson will come up to pinch hit for a very hobbled Brady Fenstra. So pinch hitter here in the 8th inning, Zach Peterson, this left-handed reserve, comes up to hit for Huron Post 7. Here's the pitch from Mitchell's Peyton Schroeder, and that's a swing and a miss. Strike 1. You don't see a lot of left-handed bats in this Huron Post 7 lineup, Oliver.
Not really, no.
Here comes another pitch, and the ball is a dribbler foul down the first base line. Glad you're with us. Mike Fell, Oliver Fell with you. I'll have the play-by-play call coming up for Huron Post 7 and Cheyenne Post 6. I'm very familiar with Cheyenne Post 6. I believe that will be the
Which?
8th game that I've covered for Cheyenne Post 6 this year. That's a lot of appearances.
Actually, you did 2 here. Yeah.
I did.
Well, this would be your 7th because we played 7
yeah,
against them right now, and you missed the
first
opener of a doubleheader.
Yeah, so it'll be the 7th time I've called a game involving Cheyenne.
This will be my 5th
this year. So
Or no,
I'm very
fourth. Yeah,
familiar with the
5th.
Sixers. I know the Cheyenne Post 6 Sixers much better than I know Joel Embiid and now Nick Nurse's Philadelphia 76ers Sixers. Here comes
Or the White
pitch
Sox
to
they model after.
Zach, yeah, I don't know them very well.
You
Here
got
comes
Cubans.
the pitch. There's a swing and a miss, strike 3, and that's a pair of strikeouts here in the bottom of the 7th inning, and now Trace Wentz could be the final out. Mitchell post 18, 1 out away from going 3-1 here in the 4th annual Veterans Classic Fitzgerald Stadium pool play action in this 4-day tournament. Ball is hit hard by Wentz. It's playable, and the final out is recorded by the left fielder Lincoln Bates, and that'll do it. A 1-2-3 inning for Mitchell post 18. Peyton Schroeder with a complete game, 1-run victory. And congratulations to Mitchell post 18. They celebrate a 7-1 win over Huron. And there were no runs, no hits, no errors in the bottom of the 7th inning. And congratulations to Mitchell post 18. They will shake hands with their neighbors and rivals to the north, the Huron post 7 team. And for Mitchell post 18, they're going to celebrate. They had that giant win over a huge crowd and the post 18, post 22 hard hats last night with Dylan Sulick's masterpiece, and then Peyton Schroeder shows just how strong this starting rotation is for Mitchell post 18 as he goes the distance, only gives up a run in the 2nd inning, and Mitchell wins by 6 runs over Huron, 7-1. Congratulations to Mitchell. They are 3-1 in the Veterans Classic, and now they need their opponents, the Huron post 7 team, to pull the upset over Cheyenne post 6 in a game coming up next in game 2 here this afternoon, or this morning here in Rapid City. And then Cheyenne post 6 will have another game against Wesco, Scotts Bluff, Nebraska, and they'll need some help there, it appears. But Oliver holding Huron to only 1 run certainly helps the secondary tiebreaker for Cheyenne, or rather for the Mitchell post 18 ball club.
It does, although not like incredibly. I mean, 1 run was about what they were averaging. They allowed 4 in the first game. They were averaging about a run and a half per game. This brings them down from 0.26 to 0.23. So there's that.
There is
Cheyenne
that.
is at 0.17, and they've still got 2 games to play. So if they were to lose one, even in low-scoring fashion, it could still be a factor. Well, I mean, they lost head-to-head. Never mind.
Cheyenne post 6 will play a doubleheader. They'll play games 2 and 3 coming up next. We'll have those games for you here on Hard Hats TV. And congratulations to Mitchell post 18. I mean, to be 3-1 and have your only loss to be to 25-4 Cheyenne post 6. You've got to be darn proud of your boys if you are a Mitchell post 18 fan. So Mitchell post 18 wins by a score of 7-1. Peyton Schroeder, the winning pitcher, goes the distance, goes 7 strong, strikes out 6 Huron post 7 opponents. And for Huron, they now drop to 1-2 in pool play, and their final game in the Veterans Classic pool play will be against Cheyenne post 6 in a game coming up next. I'm going to take a brief timeout. I'll let you kind of entertain or update everybody on what that means. I'll see if I can find a score from the Pete Lean Stadium.
That would be helpful.
Score. Oliver, did you have a spot where you looked over the fence from in here? Or did
Yes,
you go?
so it's over by the Hall of Fame. It's past the, I don't know, it's past the Hall of Fame and the bathrooms.
Okay.
You can kind of see it across the parking lot.
Outstanding. Well, I'll try to get a score and pass that along for you, and we'll update our results. But a big congratulations to all of you Mitchell Post 14 fans. Your team did it. 3-1. They get a 7-1 victory over Lane Wetzel, who went the distance for Huron Post 7. And now Huron Post 7 will square off against the mighty 25-4 Cheyenne Post 6 Sixers. A Cheyenne Post 6 team that is 2-0 entering day 3 of the Veterans Classic in full play and is the only team to defeat Mitchell Post 18 in this 4-day tournament. I'll be right back in a little bit, and I'll turn it over to my son, Oliver Fell, the voice of the Post 22 Hard Hats. You're watching Hard Hats TV. Thanks for watching Game 1, everybody.
All right, so as that sits now, that'll move Huron Post 7 into the second to last position, moving the Hard Hats up to 5th. Wesco will move to 4th. Lincoln Southwest will stay in 3rd, but the rest of them shift up. Mitchell now finishing 3-1. That still puts them firmly in second. That 0.23 runs allowed per inning is pretty low and very close to the 0.17 for Cheyenne. They would need quite a bit to happen, though. They would need that Wesco team to essentially win out against Lincoln Southwest and Cheyenne to make a three-way tie. So working on that graphic right now. Okay, well, after Mitchell versus Huron, I have a new one for the Fitzgerald Field. That should be coming in just a moment. So what we'll probably do, we have a second live stream set up for our game 2 here. So likely we'll be back in. I think I'm going to call it here, get some of those graphics done for the. No reason to believe in a weather delay, at least to my knowledge. We should be seeing clear skies all day. Once again, weather pretty variable out here in Rapid City, but today probably the least threatening forecast of the 3 days we've had so far. Okay. Well, I got that email. Let me put that into. Whoops. I didn't get it on the right thing. There we go. Into our streaming software. So we're waiting on the finish of Lincoln Southwest and Sturgis in game number 1 of the day over at Pete Lane. But as it sits while we wait on that, whatever that finish is, this is the current standings. So, alright, everybody here, make sure you stick around. It's Huron versus Cheyenne Post 6 coming up next. Look on the YouTube channel, just go to the live, and you will see the stream for it. We'll have that, I'll probably go live with that directly after this. So thank you